Good morning, child of grace. Doug White down here in Alabama. Got a little, I was going through some old papers over there, folders. I ran up on this one. I don't know if that'll come over. Is Jesus the bad shepherd? I don't know. I think I did that for shock value back then. But anyway, let me just read a few lines of this just to show you what I'm talking about. In it. Is Jesus the bad shepherd? Which, if you'll look at this, that is what all of America, all over our country, that's what they have him as, according to the way they talk on television. Anyway, is Jesus the bad shepherd? Beloved, if you dropped off your children at a daycare center and returned at the end of the day to retrieve them, and to your shock and horror, they had lost one of them, would you call that daycare a good daycare? Would you recommend that daycare to your friends? Child of grace, do you see now the absurdity of this false another gospel that has overspread our great land? But anyway, it goes on into this. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it talks about and how they've deceived us about the ground beneath our feet, and so they deceived us about this also. No, you wouldn't call that uh, a good shepherd, would you? No, nobody would call that a good shepherd. But say, brother, sister, Jesus will not lose one of all the Father gave him. And the good shepherd, here's what the good shepherd, Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Brother, sister, Jesus is the good shepherd. And he won't lose one of all that the Father gave him. But I was looking through the thing, and I used that for shock value. Is that a good daycare? Do we call that a good daycare? But we call this this something to do gospel that we have overspread not just Thailand but the whole world. Uh, we have that as the good shepherd. No, the good shepherd won't lose one. And a good daycare doesn't look, when you come back at the end of the day, they got your kids there waiting for you. But anyway, just wanted to use that as an analogy to show you the absurdity of the sheep and the goats. How they have a goat making himself a sheep. How can a goat make himself a sheep? No, brother and sister. God determines who is the sheep and who is the goat before the world began. Let's see. Let's second here. Well, I have some brethren that act like this is a strange thing. What I'm talking about here on my little channel. Like they've never heard such a thing. I'd never heard of a flat Earth before then, but for a few years ago. But I'm just telling you this what I'm talking about is the sovereignty of God and everything was well known. Look, I don't agree with everything that these people believe, or what do Presbyterians believe, but the Baptists that came to this country from the old country, they had a similar confession themselves. And this was well known, brothers and sisters. But today, this right here, you won't find this in the pew anywhere. This is talking about, let me read a little bit of it. This is one of their creeds, the Presbyterian, what do they call this? It's their creed, or they wrote it up, came over from England. I don't agree with everything that the Presbyterians uh, propagate, especially saving faith and stuff like that. They, to me, they're and the mode of the ordinance of baptism. I don't agree. I believe in immersion, but they had it right when it comes to this part of their decree. And I'll try to read it before I get out of here. And just for some people that out there, I got some people that think that it's strange that they're hearing this. What is this? Of course, man has uh, free will to choose. But anyway, let's say this is this is one of their this is a section of their confession. By the decree of God, for the manifestation of his glory, some men and angels are predestined unto everlasting life, and others foreordained to everlasting death. These angels and men, thus predestined and foreordained, are particular and unchangeable, an unchangeable design, and their number is so certain and definite that it cannot either be increased or diminished. Those of mankind that are predestined unto life, God before the foundation of the world was laid, according to his eternal and immutable purpose, and secret counsel and good pleasure of his will, hath chosen in Christ unto everlasting glory, out of his mere free grace and love, without any foresight or faith or good works or perseverance in either of them, or anything or any other thing in the creature as conditions or cause moving him thereunto, and all to the praise of his glorious grace. This, brothers and sisters, came over from England uh, with the Presbyterians. How old is this one? Way back there, you know. I forget when it was written, but I found that in that was what passed as a what they call a Christian bookstore back in the 70s, and I think I had to get them to order this, you know, because I wanted to find out what they believed. I had to wait for weeks and weeks to get it, because anyway, the Baptists, I believe they got it. I believe they got this from the Baptists, because but they changed it a little bit and took away the baptism by immersion. But I think I'm going to do a video on that, but I don't have time right now about the one baptism. The one baptism. Oh, it's over there on my thing. I better tell you right now that the one baptism. How am I getting into all this? It gets complicated. The one baptism is the baptism of the Spirit, brothers and sisters, not water baptism. You know. The one baptism, by one Spirit, he's made us all to drink. He didn't ask us to drink. He made us to drink, brothers and sisters. By one Spirit, we're all baptized into one body. Then that's a Spirit is not water. You know, water is just an ordinance of God's church, God's when men assemble. And, anyway, I don't want to get into that either, but because you know, but anyway, I better cut this video off and get me some coffee, because I'm about to mess it up and get in over my head. But anyway, the one I'm gonna have to go back and look it up. The one baptism, brothers and sisters, is the baptism of the Spirit. Every child of grace is baptized in that Spirit comes and makes his abode, whatever you want to call it. If we don't have his Spirit, we're none of his. That's the way I put it. And you can't trick him into giving you your Spirit. It's free grace. But anyway, I better get out of here and go in there and get me some more coffee or something, because I'm really messing this video up. But nice talking to everybody this morning, and I might come back and try to do some housekeeping on this video. But like I say, Presbyterians, what Presbyterians believe. Baptists, they had the same, when they got to this country years and years ago, they had the same beliefs. It's virtually unknown now. They keep this stuff in the back room. They don't talk about this. And the Baptists also, what's known as Baptist also, and other denominations believed this. They believed that God was sovereign over everything. You don't even hear nothing about it now. It's all about man, and it's God is their servant now. You ever notice some of these faith people? Instead of you being the servant of God, God's your servant. Well, what would you like? Well, I like this, and I like a nice car, and this and that, a nice house. And so, well, here's what you do. You confess this one, and you confess this one. You write this one down, you confess this one. Don't say anything negative about not having a car. You keep confessing them and you'll get them. Say, God is your servant. In the faith movement nowadays, of course, I've seen it all. Uh, God is your servant. You're not His servant. He's your servant. But and the way you get Him is you just find the particular verse and you quote it and confess and stuff like that. But anyway, just want to get on here and ramble a little bit and tell you that no, uh, God chooses who He wants to choose because He's God. That's what it means to be God. God is in control. He's in control right now over this mess we got right here. But there's nothing new under the sun. They had a mess, down through history, Men railing against God. Men, the wrath of men, God's going to make this the wrath of men to bring praises unto Him, brother. And all this will be wound up one day in the future at the last day, like I said on my video. But anyway, I got some coffee over here, but I haven't been able to sip on it. Well, what I was saying, it was, I was rambling through my little paper somewhere, and I saw the Bad Shepherd, and I thought I'd bring that up there. What absurd! I thought it's absurd to think that we call God the Good Shepherd, but He's losing people left and right at the drop of a hat because you can't get a flesh and blood preacher out there to Him just in time, to save him from the devil's hell. No, brothers and sisters, they got it wrong on the internet here. Everybody's got it wrong. These people with bullhorns out there shouting at people, using the, they've been saying that since I was a kid. Surely, I tell you what, the end of the world for you could be. The end of your world is when you take your last breath. That's the end of the world. When you take your last breath, that's the last day for you upon this earth. So we live every day. We live every day like it's our last day. Give us this day our daily bread. We don't say, well, I think I'll go down here and go, next week I'll go here, and I've done that before. We'll go down here. We can plan to go, but that don't mean you're going to go. I'm just telling you. I've lived long enough to know the monkey wrench can get thrown in your plans. If you want to make God laugh, tell Him your plans. But anyway, let me get out of here for now. Enjoy everybody's comments. People overseas, I hope they put one in there. I think I've been cut off overseas. I hope I hadn't. Because I used to have some people over in Thailand that gave me a heads up, nice comment every once in a while. But anyway, I'm going to keep on doing it anyway because it's free. And they hadn't sent me a bill yet except for my cell phone bill. And so, peace and love from us old boy down here in Alabama.